your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Welcome aboard to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday, brought to you by the great folks at Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Hope you're had a great week, ready for the weekend. I know that I certainly am. I'm ready to do nothing, but unfortunately that won't be the case. But there's been tons going on, so we've got tons to talk about. Waiting for Verdell to get here with us. We'll also talk to Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com, and Derek Elston will join us. We'll hear from had a great show last night with John Laskowski, Dusty May, former manager who's now the head coach at Florida Atlantic, and former Indiana coach Mike Davis joined us. And just great people. Mike Davis is the only guy, and I said this on the show last night. I sent him a text before, but he's the only XIU coach besides Bob Knight that's liked in this town, probably in this state for that matter. But just because he's a super good guy, he was thrust into a horrible situation. I think he did a hell of a job with it now in hindsight. But welcome everybody in. You can hit us up on the Andy Moore hotline, whether you're watching us on YouTube. If you're not, you probably should be. Indiana Sports Beat Radio. You can also follow us via radio. If you're down in Evansville on the ref, how you guys doing down there on the river? As you get closer to the summertime, lots of things to be doing to get out as we get closer to that. Looking forward to the weather staying warm, getting warm and staying warm. Of course, we're in and out of showers, but that's what spring's about, right? We're about through all of the Indiana news. Yesterday, of course, Armand Franklin made it official that he is heading to Virginia. I think it's I mean, hey, he's got to do what's right for him, and I understand that. But from what I've understood, he made up his mind before. It didn't matter what the coach was, who the coach was. So it doesn't matter. Again, I don't see it as a huge loss for Indiana. His production has already been replaced. I think that they're still a better team right now already than they were last year. And that does not even include the fact that you have Mike Woodson, Dane Fife, and Thad Matta on in the wings. They're already a better team just in talent alone, personnel. Now you add the other aspect to that completely changes everything. But welcome everybody in. Golf tan. I wish. Everybody hitting us up on the comments already. Force says, good morning, all. Not surprised that Armand transfers. Yeah, I'm not either. He should go. Tony, yep. Find a kid that can play a 2 or 3 spot. That's last night. One of the things when Joey says, great show last night, Jim. In case I forgot to tell you good morning and good afternoon and good night. Thank you very much, Joey. Thank you again. Everybody loved the show. It was man, it's stressful putting those together. I'm not going to lie to you. Mike Davis is the most honest guy ever. He is. And that is detrimental. Detrimental in his position, being honest like that. But he has always been. He's done it with, remember back when he was the coach in Indiana? I can't coach this team. I'm not. Oh, man, he just wears his heart on his sleeve. And I wish all of us, because I was a fan back then, I wish all of us as fans had knew him better then, because the situation he was thrust into, oh my gosh, it was painted as a villain of sorts, but yeah, great to see close. He is absolutely a class act for us. Absolutely. I wish, Joey, I wish I was ready to get my golf tan on. I'm tried to play twice, as I've said, and yeah, that lasted very. I did not make it out of the house, and the other one was 3 holes in. That just I'm going to put that aside for about another 3 weeks until we get through all this stuff. Jared's with us as well. Jennifer. I want a big center who can dominate on the inside. Yeah, it depends on the type of offense they're going to run. Indiana's looking at transfers. U of L, Josh Nickelberry. You know, it's so funny, this transfer portal. Last night, that's one of the subjects that came up. That's unfortunately, Verdell will be with us shortly. But that's a subject that came up. I wish I'd have had John. John, do we have that clip? I know that's not one that I had you pull up, but is that
I can pull
is
it
that
up
one
later.
easy?
I can go and get it uploaded.
Or just see it. Yeah, if we could play that off of however. But that was a subject. And that's a great one to pull up before Verdell jumps on here with us. But they were not only was Coach Mike Davis, but Coach Dusty May. We're both talking about the portal and how they just recruit the portal. And I had just heard that the day before, a mid-major coach had said, "Dude, we're recruiting the portal now," and it's true. While it has changed college basketball, the coaches, some of these coaches love it. The mid-major coaches love it. I think it depends on how it works out for you, how you feel about it, to be honest with you. If you're losing guys to it, you're not going to like it. But if you're losing guys to it, there's a problem there. But yeah, it was interesting to see what that. Go ahead and let her roll, John.
Get to relate to those players, find out who's coming back and new players they're going to bring in, and how do I mesh that together? And with this portal thing, I heard Kelvin Sampson say, what's the use of recruiting? Just go to the portal every year and bring guys in. And why not run a team like that? That's an interesting concept. I'm anxious to see what Mike Davis and Dustin May think about that.
Well, I was 5 minutes from putting Antoine in the portal yesterday. But the portal is the way to go now. I think one thing Mike Woodson has over a lot of coaches, that he was a head coach in the NBA, kind of like Eric Musselman at Arkansas, and Juwan Howard at Michigan wasn't a head coach, but he was with the Miami Heat, which was a great program, a great system. So Mike's going to do a great job, because the conversations that Mike can have with a lot of his players, all these guys think they're NBA players. And so Mike will be able to talk to them, relate to what they're trying to do, teach them, grow their talents to a different level. It's going to be very exciting to see Indiana play basketball.
That was former Indiana coach Mike Davis talking about a few things, but started out talking about the portal. But you heard him talking about Indiana in general there. But we had a great time last night. Make sure you check that out. It's all it's on YouTube, and it's cut up into clips if you want to watch certain things there. John did a great job taking care of that last night. But all of that is at Indiana Sports Beat Radio YouTube channel there. But yeah, it was just so cool. And there was another thing that John talked about. We've talked about reuniting the fractures of that program, not just the program inside, but the fans, the whole thing. There's just been so many fractures. Bringing people like Mike Davis in, he's an important part of that program. He's the last guy to take him to a national championship, to a Final Four. And I don't want to hear this crap about it being Knights players. I'm so tired of. Do you know who recruit those players? The assistants, or they came to play for Indiana and whatnot. So, they started out as Bob Knight guys, but you got to give Mike Davis some credit. It's a different way of playing. It was. Remember, Coach Knight did not get out of the second round of the NCAA tournament for the last 7 years of his career at Indiana. Just could not. They'd get to the tournament, it just wouldn't work. And it was almost like without Coach Knight there that maybe things had gotten so tense that they were freer. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But a great run. It was fun. I was fortunate to be in Rupp Arena back in 2002 and then on to Atlanta as well. But just great talking to those guys last night and he was telling the Fife stories about having to keep him out of fights. And always the referees always said there was not a game that the referee did not bring Fife and whoever he was guarding over and say, all right, these guys got to get it straight. We're not going to have any fights. There's going to be technicals coming up. But it just great. Had fun last night. But I'm looking forward to everything that Dane Fife is going to bring to this program because he is a great guy. He's an intense guy. He's a basketball guy. He is probably the guy that should have been here a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago. I shouldn't say that. This is a situation that they could have done 4 years ago, but this was not allowed 4 years ago. That was back when the no Bob Knight thing was still going on, but all of that has changed. And it's looking like a new day. So looking forward to that. The Masters is underway, by the way. Who was that? Justin Rose? Is that who's leading that? I just had that pulled up. Justin Rose, that's right. Man, jumped out. He's 7 under. 4-stroke lead over Harmon, Matsuyama. Tiger's not in there. Just kidding. I didn't get to see much of it yesterday. Oh, yeah. How about the hole-in-one? Tommy Fleetwood. I did see that. Crazy at a Masters. It's happened 32 times in the history of that. Hey, we got plenty more coming up. Let's see. Dockage rips Knight constantly. Without Dockage is no. Without Knight, Dockage is a nobody. That's not me. I was repeating that. See, last 4 5. Yeah. Hey, we got plenty more. Verdell's going to join us in a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new... That sounded better. Can I hear that for a second?
Sure.
20 Honda Civic LX front-wheel drive lease for just $180 a month, or a new 2021 Honda Accord LX front-wheel drive lease for just $270 a month. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
That sounds great.
Sweet. Is Alec supposed to be joining during this segment too?
Yeah. We're just a little early.
Yeah.
Verdell woke up late.
Oh, yeah. It happens. There's Verdell.
Sorry
What's
about
up?
that. How you doing, sir?
BJ? Oh, I'm
Good,
great,
good.
brother. How are you, man?
Can't complain. Staying busy, man.
Oh, I cannot imagine that. Not you.
Staying busy, man. Just tired, wore out.
Dude,
Ripping and running.
man, that is, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I just want all this stuff to be over. I want to be able to put my phone down for an hour. I've never been this tired. This 3-week run or whatever it's been, 4 weeks, it's worn me out.
No, I hear you, man.
Nonstop. And I can't imagine you. At least I got one thing I'm focusing on nonstop. You got 4 different things you have to deal with nonstop.
Man, it's been crazy. We had our youth program. We had our second tournament this past weekend over in Iowa. Our 8th grade won a championship over there, so that was exciting.
Play, to dine, and to play. We offer an
Been busy,
up-close
man.
animal encounter with elephants and giraffes, lodging that is out of this world, world-class golfing, and a premier resort experience that is waiting for you on your next visit to French Lick, West Baden.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday, man. I am so happy for it to be a Friday. Verdell is with us. How are you doing, man?
Good, Jim. Just tired, busy. It's been a long week or two, so just trying to make it through to the weekend.
I hear you, man. Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com's joining us as well. How are you, sir?
Good, guys. How you doing?
You heard it, man. Verdell just described it. It's been a long month. It seems like it's been a long year,
it really has. It's been a long 12 days.
I'm telling you, man, it seems like a freaking year in these last 12 days, but lots going on, lots to talk about for Indiana, positively wise. I guess we can start at the end and go backwards. Armaan Franklin gone to Virginia. Not a big shock for me there. I don't know what he's gaining, really. I really don't. But I heard that his decision was made prior. So, Alec, what do you know about that?
Yeah, I mean, originally Illinois and Louisville kind of were the two teams that had a lot of the kind of buzz and chatter attached to them. Illinois was kind of more of the louder of the programs, more so outwardly projecting that they were pretty confident in landing him. Virginia was always involved, but they kind of did things a lot quieter. Usually the quieter team always ends up winning in the long run, and that's exactly what happened. But yeah, probably I would say late Tuesday, Wednesday, because today's Friday. Yep. So late Wednesday, he
don't even say days to me.
Most of that talk pointed towards Virginia. I think at the end of the day, he just wanted to change. You look at some of the guards that have done well in Tony Bennett's system, whether it's just college or professional, and they have had some really good freedom when they do have good playmakers in the backcourt. They don't always have that, so that's why you look at Virginia and maybe don't think of them as a really stout offensive program. But you look back to when they won the national championship with that backcourt of Ty Jerome and Kyle Guy, and you see what Armaan Franklin could potentially do there. But I think it just came down to wanting a change. And obviously that's what he ended up doing.
Verdell, I mean, you see these, you've been around guys, played with guys who just for whatever reason, you played with Mo Creek, right?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a situation there. Just, golly, you hate to, like Mo Creek. God, did I hate to see him leave.
Yeah.
But it just sometimes it's how it works out.
It does, you got, as a player, you got to do what you feel is best for you and your family. I unfortunately had experienced quite a few different guys transferring during my 4 years. And it sucks, man. You build a relationship with those guys, you build a chemistry with those guys, and you hate to see them go. At the same time, you understand that they're doing what they feel is best for their future. So you tip your hat off to them and hope the best for them, and hopefully you see them down the line.
And then, Alec, you've got Race Thompson coming back, announcing that he's coming back, and Xavier Johnson is transferring in from Pitt. The production loss by Armaan Franklin has more than been made up with his production. He's got some detriments. He has some foul issues, technical foul issues, and some turnover issues. But, man, he scores 15 points a game, almost 5 assists a game, or 4 assists a game, 5 rebounds a game, whatever it is. Those are pretty nice numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of people are going to point right to the turnovers that he had. He averaged about 3.6 for his 3 years so far in college per game. But at the same time, he always had the ball in his hands. There was no other real playmaker for that Pitt roster for the majority of his 3 seasons there. And I think you're going to see him more in kind of an off-ball situation a lot of times too at Indiana now, because Mike Woodson wants to run an offense with multiple playmakers on the floor, multiple guards, and now you have that. And I think that's going to benefit not only Xavier Johnson, but also guys like Rob Finney and Christian Lander and whoever else fits in that backcourt rotation, just because I think it's going to be more so of a more loose and more freedom when it comes to that backcourt, and not so structured on who needs to bring the ball up, who needs to get the offense in a specific set. Obviously, that was one of the major downfalls of that Archie Miller system, was just very structured. And I think you're going to see it more of like that NBA style, where grab it and go. And you have 3 or 4 guys who can kind of get you going in that offensive set if that first transition break and that secondary break doesn't get there. But I think Indiana fans are going to be very excited about Xavier Johnson and what he can bring. If he can get up to about 34-35% from 3, he was about 32-33%. So if he can bump that up a little bit more, I think it's going to open up that much more for the offense. And then, we haven't even talked about Parker Stewart in the backcourt as well. So I think the backcourt has a lot of really good pieces that you can fill in for Armaan Franklin. The big thing for me is going to be the defensive end in the backcourt, just what Armaan Franklin was able to provide on that end of the floor. But I think Xavier Johnson can definitely pick up the slack when it comes to that. Front court, like you just said, Race Thompson, I think that was more of a shock than I think a lot of people realize. I think I'm not exactly sure how much Minnesota pushed, but I know there was a lot of interest from their side of things to get him to come back home.
I guess they don't have anybody left.
Well, yeah, but Mike Woodson, I think the way that he wants to have more of that 4 around 1, give Race Thompson just a little bit more freedom to kind of do what he wants offensively. He's not a 3-point shooter, but we've seen him have the ability to kind of stretch the floor at times. And I think you're going to see a little bit more of that this season. But I think the depth that he'll bring, and obviously the leadership as a captain this year, and that toughness that we saw down the stretch for IU is going to be a crucial piece moving forward for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I would think, Verdell, that Trace Jackson-Davis is going to be the benefactor here with this guard play. I mean, I think that's the one thing that they did not have last year was opening up because of the lack of shooting, because of the lack of movement. Everything was congested. And so he should be a huge – as well as Race Thompson. Both those guys should benefit greatly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's going to open up the floor so much more, man. And that's what I was hoping that Coach Woodson would bring, is that kind of NBA style. I know we have our ups and downs about the whole NBA and things like that, but the one thing about the offense in the NBA is that it's so spread out. You guys are in your spots, and you're in positions to make plays. And that's what you got to do for guys like Trace. Put him in the position where he can score and excel. And having a lot of more one-on-one situations now, I think you're going to see a whole different kind of player, a lot more dominant player, if that's even more possible. I mean, he was so dominant this year. When you open that floor up and put shooters around, like a drive and kick, and there's a lot more free-flowing, I mean, it could be real scary for him this year.
Alec, the one name that has really not even been brought up, Jerome Hunter. I mean, and he was an Archie guy because he was being recruited to Dayton by Archie before Archie got here. And he's kind of just been, I don't know. It's like he's been not forgotten about, but I'm sure that they have said, hey, we got a plan for you because he's not going anywhere, but we haven't heard a peep out of him.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the bigger surprises for IU fans. I think a lot of people, especially the way that you look back at that Rutgers game at Rutgers towards the end of the season when he had that kind of sideline situation with part of the coaching staff, and he ended up walking off the floor. I think Jerome Hunter is going to excel in this offense. I really do. I think you're going to finally see the true Jerome Hunter because you saw what he could provide in spurts last year. He was Indiana's most lethal shooter, most consistent shooter for most of that season, especially when Armaan Franklin went down. And Mike Woodson wants to, again, run 4 out and 1 inside. He knows he needs to give Trace Jackson-Davis more room to operate in the paint. And the only way to do that is surround him with shooters. And he wants to shoot a lot of threes. All of his NBA teams have shot a lot of threes. And you look at now what you have a couple really good shooters on the floor now with Jerome Hunter, Parker Stewart, and you're going to be able to spread that out. And I think Jerome Hunter is going to really excel in the offense. And I think you're just going to see even more confidence with him moving forward, just because he knows he's such a pivotal part to this team moving forward. and especially with Trace Jackson Davis back, he knows his role almost perfectly. And I think that's one thing that Archie Miller kind of struggled to do with Jerome Hunter, was really kind of pinpoint exactly what he wanted from him. At times he was trying to post up on the block. At other times he was playing the 3. Sometimes he was playing the 4. I think you're going to see him a lot more at that small ball 4 position. And I think you're just going to see a lot of a more up-tempo, quicker, faster offensive system under Mike Woodson that's really going to benefit not only the whole team, but especially Jerome Hunter.
Verdell.
I couldn't agree more. I think this is going to really benefit Jerome. I was a fan, especially at the end of the year last year, of his style, of his game. I think he's a piece that, like Alex said, he's going to be a guy that can really help spread the floor out. You got to have shooters, and he's definitely one of those guys. I like this attitude last year at the end. He got more of like a chip on his shoulder and got a little more angry in his play, and that's what we needed. I think we need a little more toughness on our squad, and he definitely brought that. So, man, I'm excited. I think the biggest thing that we're overlooking is what the Coach Woodson and his staff is going to be able to do as far as development wise. I think that you're going to see Trace get a little 15-foot jumper, which is going to make it a whole lot more dangerous. I think you're going to see Jerome Hunter not only hit the 3 ball, but be able to put on the floor and go to the basket and finish. We saw little spurts of that here and there. I think you're really going to see even more of that. I'm really excited about what's going on in Bloomington. I think you're going to see a lot of just promising and developing things going on. The fact that we're keeping a good core group of our guys. I mean, the sky's going to be the limit. It really is.
Yeah, it is exciting because, the talent is there. It just seems like it has been not getting developed. We've all, just everyone has seen that over the last 2 years that Trace is not using his offhand. He's not developed his shot. So we all know that. But no one did anything about it. But Trace included, he's got to be partly to blame for that. But his coaching staff has made it a priority, obviously, that they're not hiding. Hey, we got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you that that's just being open and honest. That is refreshing. That's a complete different aspect from the previous regime. But
and that's what you want too. You want your coaches being, especially if you have aspirations to go to the NBA. Because guess what? If your college coaches are going to be honest with you, as soon as you jump on over to the NBA side, they're going to be brutally honest. Honest.
Absolutely. You have to be. And talk about development. The 4 freshmen last year, they didn't get that. They didn't get that opportunity. It was weird how it was run. Christian Lander, I think he benefits most of all maybe from this because he's got the tools, man. He's got the vision, the quickness. You can't teach, coach, or create speed. It's just there. He's got it. But he needs to be harnessed and taught. And he's going to get that from the guys that have been at the top. I've said to Trey Galloway, got to find a role for him. I don't know what his role is yet. He's not been a shooter. He's not been a playmaker. He's not been a facilitator. So they've got to find a role for him. Jordan Geronimo, dude's got just raw talent. Man can be a beast. Don't know how that's going to show itself, but he's just got so much raw talent. And then, of course, Anthony Leal, we know he can be a great shooter. What are they doing? Last year, there was nothing done that I saw to help him develop that, to help create and all of that. So I think all 4 of those freshmen, in addition to Logan Duncombe coming in, getting to work with Mike Woodson, are you kidding me? They're in great shape.
Yeah, and I think you look at not only working with Mike Woodson, but now they're going to have a full summer to get under and really get under the hood and look at what they really need to focus on. And I think that's one of the more underrated parts of not only this past year that they didn't have, but then going forward. I think you're going to see a lot of freshmen just around the country in general take major steps up in their production from their first to second year just because they will have a true summer of development. But I really think the way that Christian Lander is going to be able to be utilized in the offense, not only as that kind of, but also as a secondary off-ball player in the backcourt. And I think you're going to see a lot more ball screens I know at times Indiana tried to do it last year, but there just weren't enough playmakers on the floor and there weren't enough shooters on the floor to really keep the defense out of the lane. So with hypothetically, a Parker Stewart and Jerome Hunter on both sides, you can run a lot of ball screen action where the defense is now going to have to actually pick what do they want. Do they want to leave a known 3-point shooter wide open and give Trace Jackson Davis an easy layup at the rim? Or what exactly do they want to give up? And I think that's one thing that Indiana hasn't been able to do is put a lot of pressure in multiple different areas on the floor with opposing defenses that I think you're going to see this year.
How much room exactly does Indiana have left? I have not worked out the numbers. I know they had 2 available scholarships from last year, and then you've lost 2, so that gives you 4. Duncombe takes up 1, so they still have 2 open spots, right?
Correct. Yep. And then if Joey Brunk comes back, they still have 2 regardless, because the senior with the COVID year that the NCAA gives seniors, if they go back to their prior program, they don't take up a scholarship there. So no matter what Joey Brunk does, IU's still going to have 2 spots moving forward. So I mean, there's still 1,100 players in the portal.
And there's a lot of names that's been talked about. Joey's asking about Noah Locke, also Josh Nickelberry or Wind, and then of course Keon Brooks has been a big name that has been floating in our ears for quite some time.
Yeah, I know Noah Locke IU definitely reached out to him. That was before Xavier Johnson committed and Armand Franklin decided to go his separate ways. But I'm not sure how much involvement IU truly is in there. I don't think that's going to be the landing spot for Noah Locke. Obviously, things can change, but I just don't see that necessarily happening. I think for Indiana, they're definitely going to go after some versatile wings, in that kind of 6'5" to 6'7" range, who can play the kind of 2 and 3 spot, but more so not a true ball handler, but more on the perimeter, which is kind of what they don't have at the current moment. Obviously, they have Jerome Hunter and maybe a little bit of Jordan Geronimo. I guess you could put Trey Galloway in that spot, but you don't have any true playmakers at that kind of 3 position. So I think you're going to look at some of those potential players. Josh Nickelberry just entered the portal yesterday, I believe. So there's going to be a lot of suitors after him. I believe he's from the Carolina area, so wouldn't be shocked if he goes a little bit closer that way. And then, we'll see what happens with Keon Brooks. Obviously, he's still on Kentucky's roster as of now. There's been obviously a lot of chatter with that, but until he obviously enters the portal, there's nothing Indiana or any other program can do as it relates to him.
I agree to that. Let's see. Jeff Goodman just put this out. Nothing to do with that. Says, I think you'll like this. The top 10 craziest fan bases: Kentucky, Indiana, North Carolina State. I don't get that one. Illinois, Michigan, Virginia, UConn, Michigan State, Arizona, Auburn. By crazy, I'm not sure what he means, but I don't know how NC State fits into that in any category.
Jeff Goodman just goes off a lot on what the Twitter fan base is, how many mentions he gets from that fan base. He obviously over the last 12 days has gotten involved with Indiana a lot. So that probably he moved up Indiana to number 2. But that's just a social media list for him.
What's coming up next for you with the Hoosier.com?
Yeah, obviously continuing to keep track of the transfer portal. There'll be, now we have some more roster clarity. I think this week was obviously a very important for Mike Woodson to get his exactly what he would have with his roster. So now we'll be able to go and dive in a lot more to the transfer portal and look at some other potential options for Indiana moving forward.
And being that this is Friday, Verdell, Friday is a bad day because it's the day you think like, okay, we finally got to I can rely. No. A big favorite thing to do of people is to Friday at 5 o'clock. You do the big dump. Oh, and you get out. And so, man, anything, Alec, think that's a possibility today?
No, I mean you look, everyone roster wise is pretty much intact for Indiana, so there isn't any sort of behind the scenes stuff for any potential commitments either. So I think, knock on wood, but I think Indiana is pretty much in the clear for today, and then moving on to next week.
You say that, man. I appreciate you, brother.
No, obviously.
Make sure you give him a follow, Alec Lasley at thehoosier.com. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Alec.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
We're going to hit a break real quick and be back with more. Derek Elston's going to join us a little later, so that'll be fun for us, Verdell. But we'll be back right after this from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios.
Welcome to your extraordinary.
Yeah, Big D.
Big Diesel.
Let's see. Did you play
Did
with
you
him?
send me his correct email? Because it was a pretty weird looking email you sent me the other day for him.
Oh, man.
Here, let me just want to make sure I sent him the right link or sent it to the right person. Bloomington.in.gov/parking DC Elston 627.
No.
That ain't him.
Yeah. Well, the part of it is, but the Elston part is, but it sounds like you got two of them crammed together.
Okay. Well, give me the real email so I can send him the right link. Because I figured that didn't look right to me.
It's just DC Elston 627 at yahoo.com.
Okay. Yeah, when you sent them to me, it was two different things combined. So DC Elston 627 at yahoo.com.
Got a picture of him and Christian in his Verdell. What's with that, man?
What's up?
So what was that? You ought to tell him. Say why ain't that? Why is no picture with me and Verdell?
I think that's when Derek was hurt and C. Watt wore Derek's jersey.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, damn, that was cool.
Yeah.
The Tipton Tornado.
The Tipton Tornado, man. That's my guy right there. Oh, Diesel.
What do you got coming up? Go ahead. A bank?
Yeah, he's working for a bank right now, I think.
Yep.
He was.
I think he's in Evansville because the station that we're on in Evansville, he goes on with that guy down there.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
What you got coming up this weekend, man?
I'm actually going over to Indianapolis this weekend, seeing my cousins. She just had a baby boy, so I haven't got to see him because of COVID. So I'm going to go over there, check him out. And then our mama,
2021 Honda
dogs had
Ford
her
LX
puppies.
all-wheel drive lease for
We're
just
gonna pick it out on
$270
Sunday.
a month. Oh! Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday. Verdell Jones with me. I'm Jim Coyle, and just finished up with Alec Lasley. Derek Elston is going to join us in the next segment. I saw that UCLA extended Mick Cronin, Verdell.
Yeah. Smart.
Okay, all right. Lock him up. It's funny.
Yeah.
You don't usually see a coach get extensions after only being there 2 years. Both Nate Oates at Alabama and Mick Cronin at UCLA locked up. They're like going, oh, yeah. But he's making $4 million a year after taking them to the Final Four.
Much deserved, man. Coach Cronin, his resume speaks for itself. He's a winner. He builds a culture. I think you can see that at UCLA. The culture has been reestablished there, and And I hope the best for him. He's a good family friend of ours.
Great guy. And Michael Lewis, of course, on that staff, and spoke with him yesterday. He, of course, not leaving UCLA. I did not expect that after, of course, the news with Dane, but he said he told me he's not leaving except for a head coaching job. He won't leave UCLA unless it's for a head coaching job. So
makes sense.
Absolutely. He's done it long enough, and I think he's primed too. I mean, you come off of a Final Four run. The coach just gets extended. Yeah, you're looking good in that situation.
It's California, it's LA, so it's
That's
a lot
hard
of
to
good
leave.
things. It is.
Trust me,
it's for a head coaching job. Exactly.
I guarantee you, because like I said, I remember we were chatting with him one day, and he was tweeting back and forth, and he was waiting for a delivery, and all it was a floating green to put in the middle of his pool. You don't have a lot of those in Jasper, Indiana. So,
right, for sure.
Man, the Masters is going on. I know you said you're just trying to get into golf. Do you ever watch the Masters at all? I know you don't have any time to do anything.
This is going to sound super stereotypical, but only really when Tiger plays. That's when when he was playing, I would watch it every now and then, but I don't really get a chance too much to really sit down and watch golf. I try to catch some Jordan Spieth. I like him a lot, so I try to sit down and watch a couple rounds every now and then. But it's tough, man.
Yeah, trust me. I know. I have not. I've seen replays. Is all I've seen so far.
Yeah.
I saw the hole-in-one, which is pretty cool. But that'll be going on all weekend. Maybe if it rains here one day, I'll get to watch something or something. Forces you in.
Yeah, sure.
But all of that going on, and it's a relaxing weekend for the first time in I don't even know. I shouldn't say the word relaxing. Let me take that back. It is a non-scheduled event weekend, I should say. There's no more Final Fours. There's no more. Last Saturday, I'm at the state championship while the NCAA is going on, and now all that stuff is settled down, and whoo,
it's nice. It's nice, right? Get to take
a breath,
a deep breath, man, and enjoy a weekend finally.
Scares you a little bit.
It does. You're scared. You're scared that something might pop up.
Always looking over the shoulder, man. Always looking over the shoulder.
Too quiet.
In the break, you said your puppy is on the ground. On the ground, right?
Let me see if I can pull up a picture. The mom just had the puppies. So we're going on Sunday. Actually, tomorrow, I'm going to Indianapolis. My cousin just had a baby boy. So we're going to go see him and check him out. And then on the way back, we're going to stop by Crawfordsville to see our pups. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
She just had the puppies.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah. So we're going to go check them out, pick our puppy out on Sunday. And then we'll obviously have to wait 8 weeks before we can bring her home. But I can't wait, man. We're super excited.
Well, congratulations. Let's see. Steven says all the chatter about the transfers. What about the players who were committed all along? Yeah, we talked about those. So, yeah, I think they're looking good in that regard. But puppy life.
I use looking exciting right now. The really the momentum and the excitement.
The athletics program.
Yeah, it's just exciting right now. It really is.
Baseball is in a little bit of a tailspin, though, man. They've lost 5 straight. And let's see. Where's my deal there? Unbelievable. It's just one of those deals because they've got a great pitching staff. Just weird. Indiana they got swept last weekend by Ohio State, 4 games. So that's kind of that usually doesn't happen, man. And
it's Ohio State too. I hate Ohio State.
Yeah, man. No, everybody hates Ohio State, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see your Illinois boys. Desumnu, he opted for the NBA. I'm surprised that Kofi Coburn is he staying? Really? Why is he staying? Is he going to be Luka Garza next year?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess he wants to get another year under his belt. To me, as far as the NBA is concerned, this is probably the hottest you're going to be right now with the whole this excitement around what happened this year with the Illinois basketball program coming back. I'm not sure who's in his corner telling him to stay. Maybe him staying another year will help him develop a little bit more. I'm not sure what more he could really develop. I don't see him becoming a 3-point shooter over his season, or be able to put the ball on the floor. But I hope the best for him. Some guys feel that it's better to stay. Some guys feel it's better to go early. So whatever he decides to do, I hope the best for him.
Absolutely. And as we continue to move through spring, what are some of the things you're looking forward to getting back to as hopefully things calm down, continue to calm down or start to calm down? I know there's been a little uprise, but hopefully that settles down.
Man, just seeing people again. To me, that was the biggest thing that I missed over the whole COVID situation, is just being able to see friends and family, that you kind of almost took for granted, whether we're down the street or a state away or 2 states away. It sucked not being able to see people. Me and my wife got married last summer, and there were so many people that we couldn't have to the wedding that we wish we could have. Diesel's, my Indiana family is part of that. I wish we could have had some of those guys down there, but this was the whole COVID situation. It kind of had a problem with that. So we're actually looking to do at our 1-year anniversary. We have a big cookout and barbecue at our new house, and just inviting as many people as we can. And just kind of, we won't have a whole wedding celebration again, but just have another celebration, just to have, friends and family who couldn't make it, and just kind of celebrate each other. People surviving this COVID and just making it out.
Let's see what Tony says. He's going to see Derek's. I don't know what that is. FIL. What is that? Tony, you have to further explain that or tell us when he comes on, but you have to find out what that is. Hey, something I want to mention too, Indiana football. Indiana University Athletics and the IU football announced on Thursday that the establishment of a new endowed football scholarship in the honor of the late Chris Beatty, who was murdered last year while walking to his apartment in Indianapolis during all that was going on. The Chris Beatty Indiana Football Scholarship was made possible by a $100,000 gift directed by his mother. It will be awarded annually to an Indiana football student athlete from the state of Indiana, with preference given for a student who began his career as a walk-on. Just a great honor for a guy who's doing good things, doing great things. And you hate to see people like that leave the world, man.
You do, man. Sometimes you ask why. How does that happen to certain people like that? And it's unfortunate, but that's truly a blessing that they're doing that, and that just adds to the culture of IU football. And it's an unfortunate reason why it's happening, but that's a special thing that his mom's doing. So my hat goes off to her and her family.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the IU football program will be behind that in earnest, as that's the creed of the team, man. And speaking of football, man, that's another thing I'm so excited about. I was talking about that last night with people. They asked me, "Are you still traveling?" I said, "No, I don't do a lot of traveling anymore. I don't. If I don't have to, I don't want to. All those away games. Right. I'm going to Iowa. I'm going to the Iowa game next year. Iowa football game. Oh yeah, I'm going to be there. I want to see Indiana kick that butt. But if they get past that game, it could be a season unseen in Bloomington in the history of Indiana football. And that's a crazy statement. But if they can get past Iowa, because that's a tough game to open on the road, but you've got a Western Kentucky team that they're going to handle. Then you got Cincinnati at home. And Cincinnati, for a non-conference game, they were a top 10 team last year.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they handle Cincinnati and Bloomington. So now that will give them 2 ranked wins in their first 3 games. Mm-hmm. Boom, you're off and running. And I think they could be 7-0 when Ohio State comes calling. And if that is the case, Mamma mia! But of course, all that depends on how well Jack Tuttle develops, if Michael Penix can get back. But I think that Jack Tuttle was right there anyway. And if Penix just recovers, he is there. So, and the new running backs coach, Delon McCullough, it's just the defense. They've got everything positive going in their direction. Everything. And I mean, they've got a ton of momentum behind them. And that is the toughest thing to get in sports. It's timing. It's having the momentum behind you at the time when you have the talent that it is all clicking. All of that has to come together at the same time. It's a weird convergence. And it takes one little thing to set one of those off course. And it's crazy, but
I'm praying that the guys stay healthy. You know, that's always my biggest prayer for athletes, especially when you have a team this exciting. Obviously last year you saw one injury kind of derailed how things went. So I'm hoping everyone stays healthy. But it could be a special year. And if fans get back in that stadium, boy, it's going to be rocking. So I can't wait to be able to come back, hopefully, and have a tailgate and enjoy.
Oh, we're going to be having those, man. I can't wait. For those of you wondering, I'm reading from Zach Osterman right now. He said that Mike Woodson's first staff at IU will include a notable salary and bumps at each position, which I expected that to be the case already because, I mean, Dane Fife is going to be considered the guy in waiting, and I'm not going to hide from that. And they can all they want, but we know what's what. So there's no way he's going to get a typical salary. You got Thad Matta already making $400,000 for a position that wasn't even there. So there's $400,000 that wasn't there. He's got a built-in $25,000 annual raise starting next year. Matta is also eligible for performance-related bonuses. Where's Dane? I want to see what Dane is. According to the terms of memorandum of understanding, Dane Fife earned a base of $375, more than any of Archie Miller's 3 assistants last season. Fife is also due a $25,000 retention bonus each year he remains in the job. Ooh, if he'd have had that at Michigan State, boy, that's an extra. That's a bunch of money right there.
Man,
that's an extra $225,000 just for staying there.
Sheesh.
That's lunch money, man.
Man,
Fife's contract runs through 2023, but it includes language automatically renewing itself each June 30th. The contract that Hunter signed when he joined Miller's staff pays him, $307,000. That one remains in place. That's surprising. Holy crap. Dude was making that? What the hell was Ostrom making then? Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, boy. Man.
They're definitely getting paid to do the job, so there's gonna be some high expectations for sure.
You're in the wrong business, Verdell.
You hear me? I should have went, man. Start coaching.
Let's see. Verdell, when do you keep in contact with Joby?
Man, Big T-John, man. Every now and then I talk to him on Facebook. It's crazy. It's probably about a year or two ago. I was in Indiana and I was at a restaurant and Big T just walked in. He just walked on. I promise you.
When you say in Indiana, at least tell me you were in Indianapolis or Bloomington.
I was in Indianapolis. Yep.
I was just saying, if you're in some crazy city, I'm like, there ain't no damn.
No. I was in Indianapolis and I was with my cousins and I'm actually eating. And here comes old Big T walking in. I was like, and you can't, I mean, obviously, as soon as he walks in, you know who he is.
Was he 6'10"?
No, T-John's like at least at 7 foot. He's huge.
Dang.
And he's just massive size. You know, he's huge, man. So
Brett, you can bring Derek in. Derek's joining us for our next segment. You go ahead and bring Derek. How's it going, brother?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? What's
the
up,
Tipton Tornado.
Good, baby. How's it going, man?
Oh man, that's never gonna leave, is it?
Oh, that not you don't like that one? That's a good one.
I do. I like it. I'm getting.
We're just sitting talking about Tijon. He said he ran into Tijon Job in a restaurant, man. Someone asked, a fan had asked if he kept in touch with him. He said he ran into him in a restaurant once.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Last time I saw Tijon Job, I can't remember, honestly. Maybe the day he left. I probably ran into him at a game once or twice, but not like that. Not out in public. I don't know what I think.
Super random, man.
If you're just the average Joe walking down the street, that guy, Verdell's right. He scares the shit out of you. So
oh man. Let's see. We gotta hit a break here in a minute. If you want to go ahead and hit that, John, we can do so. And we come back, of course. Derek Elston's going to join us with Verdell and myself, and we'll be back with that from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans! Whether you're looking for a new or what's up, man?
Man, what's going on, fellas? V, what's up, baby?
What's good, baby? How you been, man?
Oh man, living life, man.
Hey, looking big time.
Oh no! Don't say that. You look like you got your nice little office set up there. Huh? Life's good.
Man, trying to make it, man. I'm trying to make it.
Yeah.
Are you in Evansville?
No. I just was down there for training. I'm here in this Carmel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So it's good. It's a nice area. I can't complain.
How's that deal going?
It's going really well, actually.
He's a banker, Verdell. He's a banker.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Or finance guy, or what?
It was presented to me as like a gig where, I can make it my own. So I really like the freedom to, set up meetings with just kind of any and everybody. And my day-to-day is completely different. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's the gig to get, man.
I know. It's not.
Do you miss being on a coaching staff at all?
I miss wins, and
now you have to ask him that when we come back, because that's going to be a great.
I miss the recruiting aspect of it, but
really,
oh man, I like
the relationship part of it, because it can't be the grind.
Just hanging out with the kids when they get on campus, like I really love that. Other than that,
that's because you like taking them out to yogis and all that. That's why.
But like Romeo really got me into it when I was with Romeo, just because like we just chilled. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like I just loved like hanging out with these new dudes coming on campus and kind of giving them the tour and getting to know them and their families. Like I miss that part, but all that other stuff, man. Verdell, you think it's bad we thought it was bad on the court, man. It's
a whole different beast on the other side. Already know.
In the office, oh man, it's
already know.
So, hey, what's the correct name of your company? It's Fidelity.
United Fidelity Bank.
United Fidelity, that's what it is.
Yeah. V, what are you up to?
Man, I'm actually right now. I'm getting ready to try to be a firefighter.
Really?
Here in town. Yeah.
Oh, wait till you hear all his stuff. He was going to be the mayor. Now he's going to be the firefighter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
To dine
and he runs an
and
AAU program.
We offer an up-close animal encounter with elephants and giraffes, lodging that is out of this world, world-class golfing, and a premier resort experience that is waiting for you on your next visit to French Lick, West Baden.
Oh, yeah.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday, brought to you by Andy Moore Honda, joined by Verdell Jones as always, and our special guest, Derek Elston. Big D, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm good, fellas. Thanks for having me on here.
Man, it's been a long time. Appreciate you joining us. It's been too long. How long have you been since you guys have talked?
Man, I talked to Diesel probably about a year at least.
Yeah, I mean,
we're trying to get him to come down to my wedding last year, but the whole COVID situation, it kind of just
Well, we would have like a reunion every time we played Illinois. Verdell would always come down, so we would catch up. I and JD Campbell. We would always kind of get together. So, but yeah, I mean, it's probably been, because of the wedding, it's probably been a year or two. Yeah.
Yep.
JD did say the other day, your name came up, Verdell, and he's like, JD's my man. He's my boy. I love him. So you guys have a connection, I guess, Verdell. Definitely.
For sure, man. JD's good people, man. He's been there for a long time. You know, he was one of those guys that was always positive and helped us out during our rough years. And him and Timmy G too, man. Those are two of my guys that I miss the most over here.
Tim Garl has got to be the most loved. I don't know what you'd call him, but not an administrator, whatever you want to position you put him in. He's not a coach, but he's the most loved guy by every freaking player that has ever left here. It seems like.
Oh, the day-to-day as a basketball player, it's such a grind. And that's the one dude who you'll go down there as he's taping your ankle. He'll slap you. He'll say something crazy. He just keeps it light and fun. And it's like, he's that little like piece right before you hit the court. So it's like, and plus the guy's like older than half the buildings there. So like, he's a staple. He's an Indiana staple.
But he doesn't look like it either. He's got either Grecian formula going or what.
He drinks his Diet Cokes and he gets on the Stairmaster for about an hour and a half. So he's him and G's going nowhere fast.
Yeah, he's been there for an institution for sure. We were talking Verdell asked you in the break if you missed coaching or what you missed about it or anything, and you were saying some really great things about it because now you're in the business world. You work for United Fidelity Bank. They got locations if you're listening on the ref, they're down in Evansville there. So it's one of Derek's areas, but they're out of Carmel as well. But he asked you about the coaching. If you missed all that, and you said some great stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, one of the big things that you're going to miss, I mean, Verdell probably say the same thing. I mean, you just miss that game day. And last time I was at a game, the last game I went to was actually Maryland, but I went to the Michigan State game before that. And, we got the win. And it just like, I just remember looking over at Caroline, my wife, and her father. And I just wish I just kept saying man, I wish I was in that locker room right now. Because I mean, it's just nothing brings you closer than obviously, practices. But when you get a win, you bond and you celebrate just like you won a championship. Every win is hard to get. So every win that you do get, you enjoy every second of it when you get in the locker room. And with that, I miss the guys that I was in the office with. I really miss recruiting. I felt like I had a good connection. I was able to relate to a lot of the guys. So some of the guys even that were in the transfer portal this year, Race is one of my guys. So being around him every day, Trace and those guys, I'm a big, basketball is going to take care of itself for you, whether you're good, whether you're bad, whether, mishaps and, some things just happen that, you just don't expect. But I just loved seeing growth with the players. That was my thing. Having my office upstairs, guys would come in, we'd sit down, we'd watch film. That's the stuff that I really miss. The basketball stuff. I've been a part of basketball all my life. So it's kind of almost, it gets to a point where it's not a lot changes, but new players do. And having them want to come up and talk questions and, how did this go for you? And, how do my 4 years compare? And just that type of thing I really, really miss.
Verdell, I mean, you can definitely relate to that.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's one of the things I miss the most is being in the locker room with the guys. But like Derek was saying during the break, man, it's definitely a whole different beast when you're on the other side of the coin. When you're on the coaching staff and you got to watch the films and you got to dissect this and dissect that and prepare and do all that. It's a whole lot easier to come to practice, get taped, and play.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you that. Jeez. When the game ends, when you're upstairs, the game doesn't end. You just played the game. You just did all the stats for the game. Now you go upstairs, you got to watch the game probably twice. And you're just like, man, 2:00 rolls around. You're like, all right, do you think we should go home now? It's like, yeah, maybe. That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
And you were talking about some of the things that you miss is hanging out with the guys. Of course, the camaraderie in the locker room is anybody that's ever played a sport. That is the thing that you miss the most in competing with those guys. But also, you had different roles on the coaching staff and that you were able to do, and so you got to enjoy other things you were talking about as well.
Yeah, I mean, you try to progress when you're on the coaching staff. You know, when I first took the job, I was deemed player development. And, you know, with the NCAA rules, I didn't get to kind of get on the court and do what I wanted to do and what I thought I could best help the team with. But then, you know, after a couple of years, you realize like I had a real passion for it. I loved being around. I loved diving into the film. I loved pulling clips for coach. I loved putting together highlights and lowlights and recruiting for film. So film on recruits. I love that part of it. So you have this like hunger of like, okay, maybe I do really want to do this and I want to pursue this. So, you know, in that you have to show that you are capable of doing it. So it's a lot of stuff about coach giving you kind of things that you need to accomplish for him, but also, you know, coming up with your own ideas. And I remember watching film with OG and even Romeo coming up and, you know, I'm turning the ball over in these situations. So you'd go down the last 5 games, 6 games, and you'd pull clips and you'd bring those guys up. And, you know, coaches would come by. What are you doing? I wanted to show Romeo that he was doing this. And, you know, Verdell knows the 1-2 step with OG and Coach Crean. Like, you know, you're shooting it flat footed. And so, you know, taking what I was doing and kind of advancing myself because I was so used to it. You know, kind of doing my own thing with the film and getting guys to come in and not just like going over film, but, you know, afterwards, just, you know, how's life going? How are things back home? Do you miss home? Like, let's find a way to kind of, you know, build the energy because, you know, Verdell's probably the best guy to be a co-host on this thing just because he's been through so much and he lived it. So it's like, you know, and he's not from Indiana. So when guys aren't from Indiana, they feel almost like they're stuck at some point in the season because it just drags on and it's just such a long season. You have to go through so much that, like, you know, I got to the point where I was trying to find ways to, I want to say bring home, but you can't, but you can do things that, you know, the kids really like to enjoy and kind of, you know, use that to keep the energy high because that's half the battle is if you're on a team and you're a guy on a team that when things aren't going well, it's real easy to just say like, nah, I just want to cash this in. I really want to go home. The season's going to be over with. I can't wait to get out of here. So you got to keep those guys, you got to keep the spirit high and you got to make them feel like, you know, there's still a lot of this left. And, you know, we need you to be playing at an all-time high here at the end of the season.
And people don't understand how important that is either, man. I mean, you know, I remember a lot of times, you know, going over to Jordy's and their house there in Bloomington, and you know they'll make us, you know, fire the grill up, make some food. You know, JC would make, you know, Oreo milkshakes for us. So just that little piece of home, man, it went so far. Because like Derek said, you know, you guys see us on TV, you know, on Tuesdays and weekends, but we're grinding every single day. 3-4 hours, and it gets to be a lot. And so to have people like Derek and for us, you know, Seth Cooper was one of the guys that helped us a lot. You know, just having that person that can kind of just you can get this kind of reflect off of and bounce your ideas off of helps so much. And on the basketball side, what Derek was doing with the film, that's huge. A lot of players just want to go play, but that's something I learned through my career is that film never lies, and that's the best teacher to be able to learn how to grow is watching film.
It's easy to see why you're doing that, Derek. I mean, you're just a natural. I mean, your entire personality, your mindset is just geared towards it. And I wish you were still doing it because it sounds like you were very good at it and good for those kids to be around, and they need it. When you were explaining that right there, the name that just jumped in my head is Jordan Geronimo. Man, oh man, is there a kid on that team that could use you right now? Or then he that's a kid that definitely needs that kind of backing.
Well, you know, and it's different too this year. So this year or this past season, the NCAA kind of because of COVID, and you know, if a coach got COVID, you were out for at least 2 weeks at one point. So the NCAA let let some of the support staff get on the court. So I really would have liked to have been there this year, just because this year was me being able to get on the court and work. And you know, when Joey Brunk first showed up and I was still on staff, the first thing he came up to me and said was like, "I'm so glad you're here. Let's get on the court and work." And I just, you know, as much as I wanted to, I wasn't able to do it. And, you know, it got to the point where if I would have gotten caught doing something like that, you know, it would have actually affected Arch. So he would have probably had a 2 or 3 game suspension if someone like myself was on the court with those guys. So this year, them being able to do that, not only does it really help the players, just because, you know, the coaching staff can only do so much. And, you know, those guys are constantly on the phone and they're constantly breaking down film for you to watch. But it's the support staff guys who are, you know, we've got time. We've got our work done, and now we can get on the court with you. So I really would have liked that aspect. But yeah, I mean, Verdell said it best. Like that's how you want. That's how you really learn. And guys think that like it just goes game to game. Okay, this game I'll be better. This game I'll shoot the ball better. But until you actually sit down in a film room with guys who know what they're doing, and guys that, you know, whether you're a big or you're a shooter, when you're sitting down with a shooter or a big who's had success in the Big Ten, they can walk you through and talk. And, you know, with Deron Davis, I remember being on the bench when I was player development, and he would come down to the end of the bench and just say, "Hey, what are you seeing? What moves should I be doing?" You know, and it's, you know, having that conversation with players was just like, that was easily the best part of what I was doing. No question.
Man, this is fascinating. Hey, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, you know about being a part of a changing staff and what these kids are going through, because that's a big, big change for them. If you've got a few more minutes, we'll be back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
Yeah.
Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new or a used. So what do you do for United Fidelity, Derek? You told me, but so what what would benefit you is what I'm trying to say, is to put up information wise.
I mean, yeah. So what I'm doing is kind of this position for me is kind of basketball still. So I'm recruiting. So I recruit personal accounts. I recruit small businesses. I recruit anybody to just kind of build the brand and obviously bring in business. So for me, just getting the word out of the bank and our new location on Range Line, like, a lot of people don't know. I mean, this is the only bank that we have in this area. So the brand recognition is huge. And if I tell you what, Jim, you get me a couple of small business accounts from this, I'll take you out to the Sizzler, baby.
The Sizzler? Woo! The all you can eat?
All you can eat, baby.
Oh, come on now. Don't be teasing me.
No, come on. Come on. There's a little kickback for you.
Is the Sizzler still open?
I don't know. I was gonna say Golden Corral, but I don't know if they have.
No. If you know, nothing's better than the Sizzler, man. Come on,
Hey,
the Sizzler.
I always steal that line.
Do they still have a Sizzler in Tipton? Are you kidding me?
No, oh God, no.
Oh man, the Sizzler, man.
We're not that classy.
What?
We're not that classy.
Oh man, the Sizzler. Damn, that is the best.
That's white man can't jump right there. That's
wow.
Jesus.
Oh, you ain't changed, boy. God,
hey.
That is exactly why you're doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, man.
Maybe.
man.
Oh, jeez.
How's the golf swing looking?
Oh man. I tell you what, I don't literally since I left IU, I have not like actually touched a basketball. Since overseas, I have not actually touched a basketball. And now it's just like I'm just trying to, you know, my knees are shot. So all I want to do is just play golf. It's the only thing that I feel like I'm not going to get scared.
How are you hitting?
I play well. I'm an 8 handicap, so I play.
Damn.
Well. I play enough. I mean, listen, my brother played in college, so if I want to keep up with him, I got to keep swinging him, or else I don't want to come home with an empty wallet.
Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope. furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Welcome back to the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios on this Friday. Man, I am ready for the weekend. Verdell Jones, Derek Elston joining us, having a blast. This is about as fun way to spend a Friday as I can imagine. Verdell's always great, but Derek, you're just making this a party, man.
Hey, listen, if I can put a smile on somebody's face every day, that's the goal.
If I'd have known we could have had this thing catered by Sizzler, well, we'd be set.
Hey, come on. Hey, don't be giving away my secrets now, Jen. Come on, man.
Be going, man. The team currently going through obviously a major coaching change, everything changed, a cultural transplant, I guess you'd say, with Mike Woodson coming in, Dane Fife coming back.
Yeah.
Just major changes for Indiana basketball.
And I think changes unfortunately for the better. I think, what I always tell people is Indiana fans, when it comes to change, a lot of coaches get up there in their press conference and they talk about, it takes a little time, and Verdell knows as any. I think Indiana fans know. They realize that we don't give a lot of time. There's not a lot of time. You see a lot of success in one-year guys around the nation, and IU fans definitely want that, and they want to win right away. But I think this coaching staff, I talk to my guys still on staff down there at IU now, and for you to have an NBA guy to come in and do, been through what he's been through, have the connections that he has, is huge. And I think, I was kind of skeptical in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know how Woodson would kind of handle being back at IU, not being in college, but the Thad Matta piece has just been huge. And, we had to go and get him. I just told my buddies last night I was on the phone with Thad Matta, gave us 40, probably beat us by 40, probably a couple times in our career. So he definitely knows what he's doing. He definitely knows the area. He knows a lot about ball. He knows a lot about the Big Ten. So I think those two pieces there are huge. And then obviously Fife speaks for himself, being at Michigan State, coming in and kind of hopefully picking up where we left off and recruiting wise. So I think it's all together, and I hear it's only going to get better. So this is probably a big time move, and I'm really looking for the future, looking towards it.
Tony says, we'll say hello to your father-in-law, heading to his office now.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Tom Kirkwood.
Where is that? Is this the guy is this the guy I texted you about? Did I text you?
Yeah. You were with Tom at.
I met Verdell. Speaking of what you did, I met his father-in-law one day, just random. I was at French Lick. I was playing blackjack, and I'm like,
and trust me, if you knew him like I knew him, it wasn't random. You probably could go there right now. He'll be there on that same table. I promise. But no, he's down in Bicknell, Indiana, and he's an unbelievable doctor down there, and he kind of does the same. He invests so much in the community down there that you can't go around there without saying Tom Kirkwood, and it feels like that whole world down there, down south, knows him. And so he's incredible, and he loves sports and he loves basketball. So it's been a really good relationship.
It never ceases to amaze me how small everything is. It just
right.
continues to come in. It's like, wow. So what's coming up for the summer for you, man?
For me?
Obviously, you got to work, I know, but
yeah, I've got work. We talked over the break, a lot of golf in the future, but now that I'm out of basketball, I get to finally, last year was the first time really that Caroline and I felt this like we're actually married piece. We talked a little bit before the break about how the grind is upstairs, and the hard part about that profession is that your wife experiences it too. When you're not home, when you're on the road, she has to take a back seat, and it's terrible to say, but it's just the reality of the job. So me being able to get out and be at United Fidelity has just opened up our relationship tenfold. And to be here in this area, we bought a house in Zionsville, so we're around her friends. Getting to the family is no issue. So, I haven't missed a Christmas. I haven't missed a Thanksgiving, whereas, that was very fortunate. You're very lucky if you get one of those when you're playing or if you're coaching. So it's just been all around, just been incredible.
Verdell,
that's awesome, man. That's I was telling some people the other day, you have no, especially my kids, I got a youth program and got a little 7th and 8th graders, and they, all this and that. And I'm trying to teach them, like, man, you got to make sacrifices. When you go to college, I remember there was days on Christmas Day where we were practicing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it wasn't light practice. We were going after it.
Oh, yeah.
And for the coaches especially, I mean, after that little 3-hour practice, they got to go watch film. They got to go prepare and do this and that. So that's the one thing that I enjoyed the most since being retired and being away from basketball, is just being able to enjoy the little things that we took for granted. Be able to have a Thanksgiving, be able to have, enjoy everyone's birthdays, be able to do this and do that. Where basketball has took up so much of your time, man. And I'm happy, man. I'm happy for you, man.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, if I wanted to see Caroline, I mean, she would come to the games, and it got to the point where, the games were just, it's a stressful time because obviously you need to win. And if you don't, that it's not going to be, okay, this is going to be a 30-minute meeting after the game and go home. When you lose, you nitpick every little thing on the film. So I'm not kidding you when you say, like, you go to bed at like 2 or 3 o'clock. You just see Caroline at the game, you give her a wave and you say, hey, I'll see you when I see you. And, now, to have Caroline with me and we're on the couch and it's a Saturday and we're watching the Hoosier football game or a basketball game, we get to enjoy each other. We get to, talk and, I don't know. I sound probably a little weird, but it's so fun to be able to enjoy these games with her and sit with her. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe throw back a beer or two. And you know what? The one of the best things about it, and I hate it because I do miss those guys and I do miss being in the trenches with them. But after a bad loss, being able to turn the game off and go outside and just hang out and just be with her has been by far the best thing that I've been able to do since.
Awesome. It sounds like maturity, a whole bunch of other things that I don't have. So that's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound weird. It sounds normal. That's what a normal life is like.
Yeah, and when you're a player, you don't get that normal. You don't know what normal is. And I told Caroline, like, I'm 30 years old, and for the first time being out of ball, like, I have a grip on my own life. Like, no one's telling me where to go or what to do, or oh, you can't go on this date because we decided to throw in like an impromptu film session. So it's just been unreal, to be honest.
That's amazing to hear because so many people, I can't imagine the coaches that coach until they're 70 because I know that what goes on, and I'm like going, they're not home. And even when they're home, if they're like the coaches that I hear about, they're at the office until midnight and they get back in at 5, or they sleep on the couch in their office. Yeah. It's like,
no question.
It's like, wow, it is not a life. So it's, yeah, you have a life now is basically. Yeah. So it does not sound weird. It sounds like you have a life. Is what it sounds like.
And, Roy Williams just retired. And Roy Williams was how did my dad say this? Roy Williams was there with my dad either as an unpaid assistant or a walk-on. I can't remember what he had said, but I called him up and I said, Dad, your boy's retiring. He said, man, right off into the sunset, man. Stop, enjoy the rest of your life. And that's just kind of how I've pursued this, with banking and just being out of ball. It's like, man, now I get to actually enjoy a little bit of life. And, to have Caroline, she's a diehard Butler girl through and through, but she's starting to come onto this side, and so she gets excited about the games. And at the end of the day, good, bad, ugly, we turn it off and we get to enjoy each other. And you can't say anything more about that. Can't say anything better, at least.
It sounds like Verdell. That sounds like you, man. You have a very similar life.
Yeah, the little things. I mean, you don't really understand what you were missing out until you retire and stop playing.
Yeah.
You know, just not being in a little fishbowl. You know, when you're a player, you got to do these things, you got to do those things, you got to be here, you got to be there. You go out in public, you got to do you got to be a certain way. But when you retire, man, like Derek said, it's okay to go a beer back. Not to worry about this or that. Like you can just enjoy life, man. Have a cigar, go play some golf. Like it's just those simple things that some people take for granted. You never had those opportunities for the last 20, 30 years to do. So now that you're retired and you get to have a good job like that, man, like I said, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Same, B. Same.
Man, you guys need to come down to Bloomington. We'll do that, play some golf, and
hey,
for sure.
You let me know. You bring your
wallet. I'll watch Derek play, but I don't know.
Bring your wallet.
Listen to Mr. 8 Handicap. Bring your wallet. Yeah, okay. I'll bring Leary. I'll bring Mr. 3 Handicap Leary along then.
Hey,
and my wallet.
That'd be okay.
Verdell, man, I can't thank you enough. As always, you are the best. We love you to death, and appreciate you always.
Man, I appreciate you, Jim. Diesel, man,
Hey,
great seeing you, my boy, man. Can't
have
wait to see you again.
Wait, man, have we heard anything more on the fireman thing yet?
No, what's crazy is that someone just called me, so I might know something here in a little bit.
Oh man,
no, we'll find out.
We could be talking to fireman Verdell. I'll let you know. Derek, I can't thank you, man. You're always great friend of us, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you and look forward to having you back on, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for having me on here. Anytime I get to spend some time with you and Verdell, you just let me know.
We'll do it, man. You guys have a great weekend, and the rest of you as well. Thank you all so much. Without you, it's nothing. The fans, you guys are great. Go out and do something nice for somebody this weekend. Wear your mask, and until Monday, for Verdell and Derek, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio. Man, thank you guys so much.